featuring attorneys Tommy Siniard, Bart Siniard, and your host, Erin Dacy. This is the Siniard Law Show.
Hello and welcome to the Siniard Law Show. You are in very good hands here with the Siniard Law Show with Tommy Siniard, who has been recognized by the best lawyers in America for 31 years. And his son, Bart Siniard, recognized by best lawyers in America for the last 3 years. They're offering you a wonderful and free opportunity to get your legal questions answered here on the Siniard Law Show every Sunday night. Siniard Law invites you to be part of the show by submitting your questions by phone or email. You can call 1-844-7000-LAW to leave a voicemail with your question, or you can email us at questions@siniardlaw.com. Now joining us, Tommy and Bart Siniard. Thank you all so much for this. What a great opportunity to offer legal education right here in the Tennessee Valley.
Thank you, Erin, and thanks for 48 reaching out to us to partner with them to provide this program.
We're going to start, guys, with our legal tip of the week, which is about car insurance. Boy, that's a sticky one, right? Tommy and Bart, tell us about the different parts of car insurance policies.
So, Erin, when you say I've got full coverage, many times people don't realize that that's several different segments make the whole, okay? So, full coverage, the different parts are collision coverage. That's if you wreck your car either in an accident with another person, or let's say you run into a pole. You can make a claim to have your car fixed, subject to your deductible through your insurance company, and your collision coverage will pay for that. Then you have liability coverage. That means if you are in an accident and the accident is your fault or probably your fault, your insurance company will provide a defense for you. They'll select a defense lawyer for you and pay for the damages you've caused with injuries or car or property damage up to the limits of liability. Then there's uninsured motorists / underinsured motorists, and that is if you are hit by a motorist who has too little insurance or no insurance, your policy becomes what you target because someone that hit you didn't have insurance or they had too little.
Yeah, I mean, the most recent statistics we have, y'all, is 19.5% of cars riding around out there on the roadways in the state of Alabama don't have any valid car insurance on them. And there's a lot of different reasons for that. A lot of people, may not can afford it, or they get, 1 month's worth of insurance and don't pay the next month. But it's important for those people that can afford to do so is you have to protect yourself. And the way you do that is by purchasing uninsured / underinsured motorist coverage. And what that does is it completely protects you if you are in a collision caused by somebody who doesn't have any insurance or doesn't have enough insurance. And what is enough insurance? Well, almost 20% of drivers have no car insurance, and probably 30 to 35% of drivers have the bare minimum, which in Alabama is only $25,000 in liability coverage. So, if you are in a bad wreck and you have a really bad injury, require a surgery, well, $25,000 isn't going to touch it. And so the way you protect yourself is by purchasing that uninsured motorist coverage.
All right, thank you. Now to another regular feature of the Siniard Law Show, reviewing local news stories from a legal angle. This week, we're talking about motorcycle crashes, and you may remember there was a string of serious and deadly motorcycle crashes in the Valley this summer. So Tommy and Bart, let's talk about the legal principles involved in motorcycle crashes.
So there's been more than 100 motorcycle crashes in the year 2025 just in Madison County, Alabama. And a lot of times the motorcycles get a bad rap. That there's kind of this stereotype that it's always the person on the motorcycle's fault. And and there are some people who ride motorcycles out there that do speed, and they're out there for the thrill. But we've represented a lot of people who are in motorcycle accidents, and we're always trying to overcome that bias, so to speak. And there's a lot of different technicalities in proving a motorcycle personal injury case. You really got to make sure you show that the motorcyclist was doing everything they were supposed to be doing, because in Alabama, contributory negligence is a defense. So you got to really be careful if you've been in a motorcycle accident about not saying the wrong thing or putting the wrong picture on social media, because insurance companies will really try to use it against you.
That's a good point about social media. I want to think about that. And what about wrongful death cases, Tommy?
Wrongful death in Alabama, the law in Alabama is unique to the United States, and that is if someone is wrongfully killed in an automobile accident or any other accident for that matter, you have to file under the Alabama wrongful death statute, and the only thing you can recover is punitive damages. You can't recover compensation for what a good father or wage earner the person was, and that's really out of sync with all other states' personal injury law. And the other thing is if someone's badly injured and might die, then if a lawsuit's not filed prior to that person's death, then that person's estate or family can't recover for the pre-death damages. So you see us and other injury attorneys running to the courthouse, before somebody dies to get it filed, so you can show the pre-death medical expenses, the pain and suffering, the mental anguish, pictures, and so it's really unique to the United States how the law is in wrongful death. Back to the motorcycle thing, Erin, for 1 second. Motorcycle owners and riders need to know that 20% of the people that they face on the road have no insurance, and another 40% have $25,000 worth of coverage. $25,000 worth of coverage will pay for a couple of broken fingers. With motorcycle accidents, routinely, the injuries are more serious, the recovery time's longer, the incapacity is greater. So motorcycle owners that ride a motorcycle should buy extra uninsured, underinsured motorist coverage.
Very good. Ties those two subjects in together. Yep. All right, let's get to some of our legal questions. Our first question of the night comes from our viewer looking for answers after a hit and run. Take a listen.
Hello, my name is Josh, and I was in a hit and run accident last week, and I've been trying to get the video surveillance footage from a bank that's at the corner of the intersection. The bank says that they can't give it to me without a subpoena, and the police officer hasn't tried to get the video. I'm just trying to figure out if there's any way I can get that video to see if I can find out who hit me.
Yeah, it's true that the bank does not have to give him the video footage unless they are ordered to do so by law enforcement or by subpoena. It sounds like he's trying to get the police to go get that footage, and hopefully they will. But if they don't, and the bank doesn't voluntarily give it to him, the only way to get it would be to file a civil lawsuit, so you gain the ability to subpoena the footage, and then the bank has to produce it because the subpoena's a court order that they have to comply with. But the question becomes then, who would Josh file a lawsuit against? Because in Alabama you can't file a John Doe lawsuit. So one of the things that's jumping off the page or off my mind just now, if Josh has uninsured motorist coverage with his own insurance company, he could actually hire a lawyer to file a lawsuit against his own insurance company if he has uninsured motorist benefits. And then that would give him the ability to file a subpoena, send it to the bank, and get the video footage, and then maybe he can amend his lawsuit if he's able to figure out through a tag number or whatever who the at-fault driver is. That's really the best advice I could give you, Josh.
I want to add here, Erin, people just have a fear of lawyers. So initial consults with us, we don't have a charge, no charge. And if we do take the case, we don't get paid anything unless and until we recover for you. So people that are in unique situations or any situations ought to consult a personal injury attorney, whether it's us or somebody else, before the evidence, I say evidence is like water in the sun. It gets splashed, it gets moved, it gets evaporated. You need somebody that does what we do early on to preserve the evidence. You see in a criminal case, they have yellow tape around the crime scene. That is for keeping that evidence from being splashed, moved, evaporated. They protect the crime scene. Well, in a civil case, likewise, you need to protect the evidence before it gets gone.
Thank you very much. When the Siniard Law Show returns, we'll hear from the mother of the child of Ronald Dumas Jr. Dumas was abducted late last year, and the family is searching for answers. The Siniard Law Show will be right back.
Our firm, Siniard Law, we represent people who have been injured due to the negligence of somebody else.
I think we separate ourselves by not only our experience, but our community involvement and our dedication to every client.
The people of North Alabama are very important to all of us because this is home.
We are a Huntsville law firm that cares about Huntsville and North Alabama. If you've been injured, call Siniard Law.
The following is a paid presentation by Siniard Law Injury Attorneys, paid for by Siniard Law Injury Attorneys.
An ongoing local news story we've been following since December is the disappearance of Huntsville realtor Ronald Dumas. Dumas was last seen on surveillance video entering a liquor store December 15th with two women. He left the store apparently unharmed, but he hasn't been seen since. There have been several court hearings on the case recently, with suspects facing charges related to the kidnapping of Dumas. Joining us tonight on the Siniard Law Show is the mother of Ronald Dumas' child. Bart.
Thank you, Erin. I'm here today with Kira Samples, the mother of one of Ronnie Dumas's children. I'm sure everybody has heard the story. Ronnie, a young realtor, young father, went missing last December, and wanted to speak with Kira here this evening just to let you share with the public at large what Ronnie is like as a father, as a person, what it's been like for you and your family, and then to also talk about the reward that's been set up, the billboard campaign you all have launched. But first, tell us about Ronnie as a person.
Absolutely. So, Ronnie is, just as a person, he is a really good friend, reliable. You can count on him. You know, you could set an alarm to him because he's that dependable.
Yeah.
As far as him as a father, ever present, from delivery to every event that our children had, as far as sports, dance recitals. He's super vigilant about making sure that he's there, you know. And he also, it was really big to him to have a village. So he built a community here in Huntsville. And, you know, he'll meet you and you'll start out as a friend, and he adopts you in his family.
Yeah. I know y'all have a son together who's in middle school. If you don't mind, could you share what it's been like on your son going through all this?
It's been extremely difficult for Kai, especially with the relationship that him and his dad have. They're extremely close. He talks to his dad every single day. That's his biggest hero. That's his idol, literally. So it's been hard on Kai, but Kai is extremely resilient, you know, and he's a positive kid. So he doesn't really try to lean towards the negative. I really love that about him in this situation. It's shown me his strength.
Yeah.
But it has been difficult on him. We definitely are working on getting him some help, you know, so he can talk to a professional, because with him being 13, he may have certain feelings and emotions that he doesn't really know how to express to us.
Right.
But I'm really glad that he's tried to remain positive, but it's been extremely difficult. And as a parent, it's hard to tell your child that your dad's not here and I don't know where he is and I don't know exactly what happened to him. I just know that we don't know where he is right now.
Tell us what it's been like, in the first month or two. There was no clue. There was no sign of any evidence as to what occurred. And then it comes out a month or two later where the police have confirmed that they think he was abducted. What was that like, going from not knowing anything, perhaps, people questioning Ronnie, maybe he had left on his own, and then getting this confirmation that he didn't leave on his own?
Yeah.
What was that like?
In the beginning, when there wasn't a lot of evidence or clues to exactly what happened, and there were a lot of theories, that was difficult to hear, and that was really hard when you know a person and you know how they operate and how they move, and when you know how they are dedicated to their children. From the beginning, myself and the rest of the family, we knew he didn't walk away.
Yeah.
So when it finally came out in February that he indeed was abducted and there was foul play involved, it just really, it helped us to finally say, we were right.
Yeah.
And it's not the news that we wanted, but I was glad that I felt like that would put more fire under his case for people to take his case seriously.
Right. And there's five suspects. Two are now in custody. One of them's in custody here in Madison County, finally. But we still don't know where Ronnie is.
Exactly.
And tell us a little bit about the reward that's been set up and what you and the family have been trying to do to get information about his whereabouts.
Absolutely. So we have come up with a reward, and I do want to first thank you and your company for donating. We appreciate that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But yes, we are up to a $7,500 reward at this time, and that reward is being offered for the confirmed whereabouts of Ronnie.
Right. And you've also, I think I saw more recently, launched a billboard campaign.
Absolutely.
That's over in the Memphis area.
So we have it in a few different places. We also have a billboard here in Huntsville as well. Yeah. And the other locations are all over Memphis and Mississippi. Those are the areas where the suspects originated from.
Yeah. Do you want anybody throughout the Tennessee Valley to know anything else about Ronnie or this matter? This is your chance to tell them. Is there anything else you can think of?
Yes, I would just like to say to the community that I know sometimes we disassociate ourselves from certain situations or scenarios, or we think that could never happen to myself or my family. But for an able-bodied grown man to be taken against his will and then just disappear, it literally can happen to anybody. And I just think it's important that I put out there that nobody's perfect. We are all one decision away from changing our lives drastically.
Yeah.
So he's not just a name on a missing persons case. He's not just a name on a flyer. He's important to our family.
Well, Kara, I really appreciate you being here this evening, and thank you so much. Erin, I'll send it back to you.
Just heartbreaking to hear all of this, Tommy.
So sad. And there's still hope that he's out there somewhere, and they have two people in custody. So we're pulling for the family and trying to support every way we can. And I know the community's behind this family.
Absolutely, and hopefully those billboards will help as well.
Amen.
When we come back, it's time to answer some more of your legal questions. A reminder, submit your questions by phone or email. Call 1-844-7000-LAW to leave us a voicemail or email us your questions at questions@siniardlaw.com.
I got sandwiched between an 18-wheeler and a truck. During the accident, I lost my left leg. I chose Siniard Law because my granddad knew they had a great reputation. They were very knowledgeable. They were very sweet. We had a connection. They pretty much treated us like family. I would definitely recommend Siniard Law because they are caring and they will help you get what you deserve. If you've been injured, call Siniard Law.
The following is a paid presentation by Siniard Law Injury Attorneys. Paid for by Siniard Law Injury Attorneys.
Let's get to some legal questions from you, our viewers. Our next viewer question is about workplace safety. Take a listen.
Yes, my name is Carl. I was working for a local manufacturing company. I was unloading and loading trucks, and I barely made it out of a truck that fell because they were not following safety standards or OSHA code. And I was wondering, do I have any type of case or feedback, or just trying to get some feedback on what I could do or what I cannot do. But I could have been seriously injured or killed. The whole trailer collapsed when I was coming out because they didn't use trailer jacks underneath the trailers. Just wanted to know.
So this is a workers' comp question. Alabama has a code, it's a statute dealing with workers' comp. If you're injured on the job, you don't have to prove it's the employer's fault. Anybody that's injured is entitled to workers' comp benefits, and they are three at least. 100% of the medical, both now and in the future, and that's forever. It doesn't cover getting your eyes examined or other health problems, just the problems with your injury from the job. 2/3 of your average weekly wage while you're out on doctor's orders. That money is not taxable, state, federal, or local. It's subject to a cap now of about $850. And the third is if you have suffered a permanent injury, whether it's 1% or 100%, you're entitled to permanent partial or permanent total disability benefits. But there are benefits that you can receive if you're not injured and it was just a close call, then that's not enough. You have to actually have an injury that happened on the job. But it's something that we'll advise for free on your questions if you should call our office or some other lawyer that does workers' comp.
And one of the things that Carl's question brings up is Alabama and a lot of states is you can't bring a claim against your employer for their negligence if you're hurt, which seems kind of crazy. With what my dad was talking about, the Alabama Workers' Compensation Statute, that's usually your sole remedy. Medical, 2/3 of your average weekly wage while you're out of work hurt, and then if you have a permanent impairment or disability, you get compensation for that as well. But suing your employer for their negligence, for violating a safety statute, an OSHA regulation, that
doesn't get you anymore.
Doesn't get you anywhere, really. And that's unfortunate, but the legal history of that is big business had a compromise with labor unions back in the 30s, the 40s, and the 50s, where, back before workers' comp, if employees got hurt, they could sue their employer for anything. They could get pain and suffering and mental anguish and lost wages. And that was really hurting the big businesses. But then when the workers were hurt and it was their own fault, the workers weren't getting anything. They were out of work without pay.
They were in a vacuum.
They were in a vacuum. So that's what workers' comp is. It's this compromise where nobody has to prove fault. You can trip on your own shoelaces going on the steps into work, or but it could be a safety statute violation by the employer. In either situation, it doesn't really matter. It's were you hurt on the job? And if so, you're entitled to those three benefits.
Interesting.
There are exceptions, and that is third-party cases. Let's suppose you were injured on the job, but it was a contractor that was in there doing electrical work, and you had an electrical injury. So you've got a workers' comp case because you were on the job, but you've got a straight up negligence case against the third party who came into the workplace and created a hazard or safety problem. And we've had those, and in that case, there are no limitations on what you can recover except the negligence law of the state of Alabama, and we've had a recovery of close to $5 million on that started as a workers' comp case. Mm-hmm. So those things are to be vigilant about. The other thing is discharge cases. You cannot be discharged for filing or pursuing a workers' comp case, and that has its own damages separate and apart from workers' comp. And there are other exceptions, like if the company removes a guard and you're injured from a removed guard, then you do have a separate negligence case for the removal of a safety guard.
So can be so complicated. So going back to what you said before, always important to speak with an attorney as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I mean, almost every personal injury lawyer is going to talk with you for no charge. Mm-hmm. And people are just scared because they feel like if they call a lawyer, they're going to either have to pay something out of pocket or that a lawsuit's going to have to be filed and they're going to have to go testify. I mean, there's no harm, I can assure you, in just picking up the phone and calling an injury lawyer in your area.
Next week on the Siniard Law Show, we'll be talking about elder law. So, Tommy, what does elder law encompass?
More than folks realize. You know, my dear friend and long-term elder lawyer, Connie Glass, would tell you that a lot of what she does is prepare wills and trusts, mm-hmm. handle estates, but more than that, she does planning. So if, God forbid, a person should be relegated to a nursing home that charges $7,000, $8,000, $10,000 a month, they will burn your assets liquid first and then take liens against your house and your farm or whatever. Well, if there's nothing left for them to do that with, then you're entitled to Medicaid. To get Medicaid, you have to, it's need-based. You have to have assets worth $2,000 or less. So my friend Connie Glass and other elder lawyers do planning where the children may have the house and a life estate in the mother, and slowly but surely the assets are moved to where they should be instead of to the nursing home's pockets. So a big fraction of what she does is planning. So we'll get into that when Connie's on the show.
All right, thank you very much, Tommy and Bart. And as Tommy mentioned, Connie Glass will be here next week, so be sure to call or email the Siniard Law Show with your questions. You can send those questions in by email at questions@siniardlaw.com, or you can call 1-844-7000-LAW. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you on Sunday nights here on WAFF 48 at 10:35.
Thank you, folks.